post the video, create the content, apply for the job. This is not just limited to, wow, this one YouTube video changed my life. It's really this one decision changed my life. This decision to do something and to commit to it. And getting on YouTube and hitting monetization status started with one decision. YouTube has been that vehicle of practice. It's been an opportunity for me to become a better speaker, communicator, and it connects me with people. Whenever I create content, launched my podcast, wrote my book, it was never with this goal of being rich. God knows what we need, will provide, and sees our faithfulness as we walk and put a plan in place and work that plan. God will bless it. Sometimes it is about becoming the better version of ourselves, and we won't know that we're at the promise until we get to the promise and we look back and see how all of this process set us up to be able to handle the Goliath moment where David was equipped to use 5 smooth stones in battle because he was prepared in private. I've looked at my YouTube journey, my social media journey as being prepared in the pasture for whatever it is God desires for me. In October of 23, after I got married, the fullness of the promise of God moving me to Texas by faith, me obeying and putting a plan in place to execute on that obedience, my husband was a catalyst for my YouTube to go to the next level. After years of deciding to fine tune my skill sets, show up daily, the Lord answered this prayer of becoming monetized. I made a decision in October. I put a plan in place. I showed up online consistently. And by April, I had grown from 300 to 1,000 subscribers, and I was able to get monetized with the 4,000 watch hours. And it was simply because I made a decision. However, that decision could be made because I was in the season that was prepared for. The Bible says to not grow weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. Life has seasons. Psalms 105:19 says Joseph's character was purged until the promises of God come to pass. And we have to go through a process of becoming, and we can't look at other people's success or methods and formulas as this guaranteed way that we will achieve, because our story, our experiences, our upbringing are unique to who God has created us to be. And it's up to us to seek first his kingdom and righteousness, and everything we need will be added on to us. I can relate with the frustration of you creating content and not seeing the fruit of your work. And it's there in that frustration, in the showing up, that you build on what is working and you give yourself the grace to pivot. You give yourself the grace to lean into discomfort and create from that space. I look back over the videos I've made over the last 8 years and I realized I wasn't ready to fully commit to showing up online because there were parts of my identity that God still wanted to heal. I was coming to learn him as a father and friend. I was laying down the perfectionism. I was learning how to grow in a God-fearing community. I was learning to be a child of God, learning to be content with what he had given me, working the 9 to 5, though I have gone from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, back to 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship, because all great leaders must follow first, being a great follower before you can lead. And that sometimes God needs us to cultivate somebody else's vision because it teaches us grit. It teaches us the ability to learn a skill set. This is where wisdom stops at the gate, where only experience can carry us forth, where we have to get some experience under our belt so that we can reach back and pull the people that we're assigned to. I've been on YouTube since college. The first videos I posted, I was not prepared for this lifestyle. I spoke about being free from anxiety, and at the time I was not free from it. And it wouldn't be until like 2 or so years later that I would get free from anxiety to the point that I could talk about it and help other people through it. I am all about being prepared, all about practicing, all about showing up, making one step daily towards the larger goal and not getting discouraged. And if you get discouraged, lean into those moments and those frustrations. Since I've been monetized in April, I've made about $200, and this is because I know myself in an area that God is dealing with is self-sabotage, where I'll have momentum and then stop. And then I look back and I think, where could I be had I remained faithful to the plan that I put in place where I didn't allow discouragement to get me discombobulated. That's why you have to know your cycles, you have to know your weaknesses, and sometimes the areas of greatest resistance is where God is giving you the most authority. I want to encourage you to go forth in boldness, put up the video, talk like this. You'll see different styles, find your style, and don't worry about monetization. Don't worry about, are people going to watch my videos? Yes, you want to create what you know will attract your target audience, but you don't know the audience that you want to speak to until you start to create content. My brand has evolved over 8 years, but a constant is my willingness to be vulnerable and consistent. Some core values remain in place. I went from helping discover the power in your voice to own your story and brand it well to inspiring women to grow in life, faith, and business. This way, I can be everything that makes up my uniqueness without feeling like I have to place it in this box. You are the niche where you are creating from a space that your younger self needed that you can now speak to because you've gotten to the other side. I've made $200 so far from April until September. I find myself in a challenging season where I have to disconnect from social media, get back in the presence of the Lord, and remind myself this is part of the process, part of refinement, and this is all for the building of my character and the testing of my faith to see where my roots are in Christ and where He still needs to work on areas that could sway and waver because they're not deeply rooted. Don't worry about who's watching. Show up, create, share your testimony, your story, the things that are unique to you. And then with each video, fine tune one thing. Switch something up in how you edit, where you edit, the lighting, okay? Change the thumbnail around, do little things that make the video better each time you show up online, and give yourself the grace to just enjoy the process. Everything cannot be focused on money because God knows what we need. He is both beginning and end. Nothing in the middle catches him by surprise, and we have to release ourselves from this pressure to perform and be validated. We have to show up daily and take steps in the direction we are going. I've created this Slay Your Goals in 12 weeks or less. If you're interested, it'll be in the description. Start where you are today and decide what are three main things you want to accomplish in 365 days. Break those into bite-sized pieces to attack every 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, when you put the focus and the strategy in place on how you're going to accomplish it, you fine tune it for the next 12 weeks. What worked, you build on that. So for example, one of the things I want to do is learn Haitian Creole. I want to be proficient in Haitian Creole in the next 365. For 12 weeks, I'm going to learn level 1 of Haitian Creole. And my daily habits for that is studying 30 minutes a day and speaking to my husband what I learned in that language. It's taking the larger vision and not over complicating or stressing yourself out with so many things, and then breaking it down into focuses that will help you achieve them at a compound rate of you building on each step that you take. The goal is not perfection. The goal is continuation. The goal is to be the better version of yourself tomorrow than what you are today because of your decisions and giving yourself the grace to evolve. Post the video, create the content, apply for the job. This is not just limited to, wow, this one YouTube video changed my life. It's really this one decision changed my life. This decision to do something and to commit to it and to put a plan in place. And though it took me 8 years to get to this moment where I was able to decide that this is what I was going to do and put a plan in place, that doesn't have to be your story. However, let my testimony be one of endurance, a willingness to look back over my life and realize, like, hey, there is something in me that God has called me to do. And though I don't fully understand it, I'm going to at least start with what I believe I'm supposed to do. Now I have this collection of stones to look back at the faithfulness of God and my own willingness to at least show up for myself through videos. Some are cringy, but I smile because it speaks to the progress. It speaks to the becoming. It speaks to this knowing that social media and us being a social media generation with internet, it has created this microwavable mentality where we feel like we're supposed to get everything quickly with these quick fixes and bite-sized pieces. And that's not realistic. We have to get back to the place of understanding the importance of endurance. We were created to endure, to long suffer. And in the midst of that, we were created for connection. That at the core, who we are is to be understood and to connect. There's something in you that God created, your uniqueness, strengths, and weaknesses that paint a picture for other people to walk through their own lives. What took me 8 years may take you 8 months because your focus is different because you're gleaning the nuggets of people who have gone before you. So you don't have to get caught up in the messy. That's not a part of your story, but you can take the wisdom and apply it so that you can experience that which wisdom cannot go forward in, because you have to experience whatever it is that's unique to your life, your story, and the race that you're running. So post the video, do what you have to do. Stop letting fear get in the way, doubt get in the way. It's as simple as picking up your Osmo Pocket. You don't have to use your fancy DSLR camera. I've been using my Nikon Z6 since 2020. I had a whole video of how I went from my DSLR to this mirrorless camera with the goal to create content in 2019. And I've had multiple Osmo Pockets. Sometimes I just use my iPhone, some days microphones. I'm just using the built-in audio on this Osmo Pocket because I don't even got it to go and put the microphone, and y'all gonna get this real raw honest work that this is what it looks like to just show up. I didn't want to record today, but I'm committed to my goals. Posting a video every Sunday as I build this cadence and see what my community responds to. I can innovate and create from that. Those I'm connecting to are guiding the conversation. And as Holy Spirit drops ideas, I'll create from that space. You don't know what works until you put up something. You won't know until you post content, you speak, you push past your discomfort and stuff. So discomfort will get the best of you. But bring us into that space. We need to know that this is difficult. It's not this cakewalk, but it's worth it in the end when you're able to look back and see how far you've come. So post the video, let it fine tune your skills, let your discipline grow because it shows you how to stay committed to a goal, faithful to the plans that you put in place, the willingness to say, hey, this isn't working or this is working. It gives you an opportunity to get monetized. Do what you have to do, but give yourself grace. Don't let that be your focus. Don't let that be an idol. And stop self-sabotaging. Find people that can hold you accountable, that you can share it with, and run full speed ahead. I'm cheering you on. I have a Grow Your Brand in 7 Days email course, or you can get Slay Your Goals in 12 weeks or less to help you show up. That's it. And you don't even have to buy it. I'll link the article I wrote so you can create your own if you use Notion or however you want to document it. These are free resources for you to no longer make excuses for what you believe the Lord is calling you to do. For those who are new here, my name is Janae Carly. My goal is to help you grow in life, faith, and business. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you. Holla.